Welcome to the New Rugged Order podcast, exclusively on the Hard Knock Digital Culture channel. Now give it up to your host people, MM2K.
What is up, my friends? What is up? It is your boy, MM2K of PNTS Network, MM2K Gaming, here, Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, Ubimos Gaming. We had a hell of a show on the Ubimos Gaming channel yesterday, by the way. Go check it out, where we looked at Division 2, Division Day. But I'm everywhere. I am everywhere, and I'm here with a very special podcast dear to my heart. This is NRO Podcast. This is the flagship podcast of the Hard Knock Digital Culture channel. This is where you're at right now. And man, oh man, oh man, do we have a show for you today. I can't wait to get into it. I see y'all out there in the chat, particularly my homie Cold Blood Sensei. As always, he's like, yo, let's do it. He said the only show that should be daily. He's talking about my daily content, my schedule. He said this is the only show that should be daily. He says in its perfect timing, He said 4:30 p.m. my time. Hell yeah. He said rename it to RIP Xbox Daily. Speaking of the RIP Xbox Daily, it's very interesting that you said that. I have a very special project that I'm trying to convince somebody else to be a part of. It's very unique. I think it's very slick in its approach and its name and stuff like that. And I think you're going to appreciate it. As a matter of fact, I'm in conversations with this person right now about doing something soon. And while we're doing that, I'm hoping to put the final bow on discussing this new project with them. So hopefully they're down for it. And maybe you guys and gals will get a taste of it next week. That being said, yeah, I got a very interesting thing in that realm, because I think it's time. Let me just say, this is a podcast where we talk about all things gaming, hardcore gaming. This is a hardcore gaming, hardcore martial arts, hardcore anime channel. Yes, this is nerdistry at its most hardcore, but finest forms. So thank you for joining us. We are going to be having a great show today. Today we are going to be talking about Xbox poor management. In contrast, we're going to be talking about PlayStation's dominance. And lastly, I want to talk about Dead Island 2. I want to talk about the conversation around Dead Island 2, which, we'll spend a little bit of time on. And then at the end of the day today, our content day today, which is not going to end until I'm suspecting 4 p.m. Eastern. Those last 2 hours, we're going to be playing Dead Island on the Nvidia GeForce Now. However, we're going to be spending the latter part of this day first talking here, and then I'm going to go over to Kick. So if you're not following me, check me out at kick.com/MM2K Gaming. Over there, I'm going to attempt to play some I was about to say Hi-Fi Rush. Holy cow. The caffeine is not kicked in yet. I'm gonna be playing some Horizon Forbidden West over there. What I was going to do was play Dead Island 2 on PlayStation and just make this a full PlayStation day. But my son was supposed to get the game. I don't know if he's listening. My son was going to get the game, and I told him I'll go halfsies on him. But we game share, so he gets access to Horizon Forbidden West, all these fantastic PlayStation games, God of War, Ragnarok, all this stuff because of moi. So he went and pre-ordered Dead Island 2. So I said, look, bro, because I don't know how the game sharing on PlayStation works. I said, look, bro, let me know, when you plan to play, because I won't play when you're going to play. But I know you're not up before 10 because he works the twilight shift. I said, I know you're not up before 10. If you're up, if you're not up before 10, then let me just squeeze out a couple hours of Dead Island 2 and then you can play. I don't know if we can play games simultaneously or not. I have no idea. I think the little runt removed me from the game sharing access. I don't know, because I ain't paid him yet. I told him I'd go halfsies with him. I think he removed me. So I couldn't do that. And therefore I decided it would be better for me to bump this up to 10:30 my time instead. And then I'll just talk about the Dead Island 2 conversations. That still, to me, is news enough. All right. Let's get to more and more into these comments before we get started. My homie Cold Blood Sensei, nah. Cold Blood Sensei says Doc Dark. Nah, not Doc Dark, man. Not Doc Dark. I think it's another content creator you will definitely appreciate. They're kind of in the same boat that I am, but they woke up way before I did. I kind of feel bad because, in their awakening, at first I was like, oh man, what are you doing? You just got to give Xbox a little bit more time, man. What's going on? And he's like, I gave them too much time, man. They got to produce and I'm out. When they start producing, then I'll come back. So I think you'll appreciate this person. We're gonna be putting something together hopefully next week, and then we'll take it from there. Doc Dark, I do want to sit down with Doc Dark though. He said, "Don't hype me up like that." With you playing Hi-Fi Rush, no, brother, no. Yeah, it is hot in here. It is hot in the studio today. Let me turn on this air. Got to turn on the central airing, man. Paying all this damn money for all these amenities, and I ain't even using them. No, brother. I can't. Let me say this. And I'm known as the Stadia guy, right? Like, I had a conversation with somebody I really like earlier today on Twitter. I just think that their focus on the current conversations are misguided. And I think they're misguided because they're too focused on, okay, let me give this scenario. Say I'm sitting in Arby's, Cold Blood Sensei walks into Arby's, right? And he's, and he comes to Arby's because, he likes the combo meal. He likes the curly fries and he likes the chicken sandwich and the drink. He wants all that to be there. You know what I'm saying? And let's just say Arby's has a subscription as well. Where you can get a combo meal for half price. You just pay this $10 a month, and every time you come in, you'll get a combo meal for half price, and then every fifth meal that you get a complimentary meal free, right? So Cold Blood subscribes to that. I just come in and I may just buy random things at will. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy being in Arby's because I like the 1950s music that they play in there. I like the Arby's sauce. My reasoning for being in Arby's is extremely superficial, and it's really not on any consumer-based thing where a consumer walks in, they want food, they want good tasting food, and they want to go about their business. Me, I'm there for the atmosphere because I'm there for a lot of superficial things, nothing really on the consumer level. I like the people at the register. I like how the seats are designed. So I'm there all the time, and I randomly buy anything, right? Just because I'm there. So Cold Blood walks in there, and for like a week straight, every time he goes in there and presents his card for his meal, they're like, "Oh, sorry, Cold Blood, there's no curly fries." And he's like, okay. So in a week turns to 2 weeks, turns to a month, turns to 3 months, turns to a year. Where Cold Blood every day has walked in here. He's been paying his subscription because he loves these curly fries. He's been coming to Arby's and they don't have them, quote unquote. Now, really, the scenario that I'm giving you is really, really extreme because after maybe a few months, the average consumer is going to look at that and say, hold on, I'm not being serviced and I'm getting mollywopped. I'm getting beaten in the head with a cash register here. And I'm not, and you're not delivering service to me. But the reason why I extended it on this extreme level is because that's what's happening on the console and the gaming side. And let's just say the final day where Cold Blood walks in, he's like, I really want my curly fries, but you guys keep saying they're coming, they're not coming. And maybe he likes Dr. Pepper. Now they ain't got Dr. Pepper. He's pissed. The straw that broke the camel's back. He goes off. You mammy jammies have been taking my money for a whole year. You keep promising me that the curly fries are coming. You have no idea when they're coming. You don't know what's going on. But you've been taking my money and deceiving me. I'm canceling my service and I'm letting everybody know about the egregious service that comes here because you guys aren't transparent. And on his way out or while he's having this discussion with the people at Arby's, I sit up and I go, hold on. You're acting like this just because they didn't have Dr. Pepper today? I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you go tap dance and go shield for McDonald's? They're across the street. What do you mean? Why has it got to be such doom and gloom? This is all over Dr. Pepper? Aren't you getting a sandwich? You're still getting a sandwich. You should be happy. They told you that the curly fries are coming. Look at their faces, Cold Blood. They look like nice people. They play 1950s music here. The Arby's sauce is tangy. Why can't you just wait like me? And that's synonymous. As crazy, you know what I'm saying, as zany as that scenario is, it's actually synonymous to the stance that people are taking who are actually upset that consumers are disappointed in not getting what they paid for. There are actually people that want to sit there and tell you what you should or should not like, and what you should or should not accept, or what you should or should not be disgruntled about. Now, if I'm not disgruntled, if I'm sitting there while all this is going on and I don't say nothing to Cold Blood, and then Cold Blood all of a sudden slaps me in the back of my head and says, what the hell? I see you in here every day. What the hell are you still sitting there for? You should be upset too. This service is horrible. That's different. But if he's upset because he's not getting what he paid for, and he was continuing to pay based upon empty promises, he has every right to be upset, and I'm going to stay out of it. If anything, if I'm going to do anything, I might cordially say, you know what, maybe he handled it the wrong way, but substantively, he is right. Like, you guys shouldn't keep making him pay for curly fries. Like, what's going on here? Because that's how I do. Because if you're going to do that to him, who's to say you're not going to do that to something that I like here and lie to me? Right? I mean, that substantively, that's what's happening here in this conversation. People are mad that people expected what they paid for. That's insanity to me. And there's people that I like that actually have that state of mind. And I was talking, and again, I like this guy. I like this kid. He's a good kid. I think he's talented too. It's just that sometimes people get too engrossed in this I got to defend this logo type thing, that the whole consumerism part of it just fades. And that can never happen. Like, you guys aren't getting paid from Xbox. Like, in a lot of these people, and something that I observed that is really, really peculiar to me is haven't you noticed that the staunchest defenders of Xbox get the least? Like, I'm looking at these people who are paying. I mean, I'm looking at the people who are now complaining, creators and stuff like that are complaining or whatever. They're followed by the Xbox executives. They get invited out to Xbox events. They get Xbox swag and stuff. They're actually on the payroll for a certain extent. So you would understand them shilling. But the people that are doing the most defense out here, like the biggest defense force advocates out here of a multi-trillion-dollar company, are the ones that don't get jack from them. That should signify to you that they are a group of people that are beyond consumerism. And if your gripes are anything about consumerism, they are not the people that you can go to. They can't relate. Now, if they want to sit in a huddle and talk amongst themselves and say, oh, you know what, people are complaining, this ain't right, get a paper towel, stop whining, blah, 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 blah. If they want to do that, let them do that, because they're in this for something else besides consumer retailer relationship. They're like me in the Arby's scenario, like the clerk. I enjoy the 50s music. The Arby's sauce is tangy. All of the superficial things about your visit to Arby's, I'm there for. So whether they don't give you your food, the sandwiches are half cooked, they don't count your change out right, ain't going to affect me. I'm in the all-exclusive Arby's club. Arby's store number 1704. You know what I'm saying? That's how those people are treating their relationship with Xbox. And to be fair, that's how some people treat the relationship with PlayStation. That's zealotry at its finest. You got to let them be. I'm not saying you got to dump them forever, but they are people that you cannot rely on when it comes to content. particularly not now, when you're fighting for your consumerism, your rights as a consumer, and you're speaking out and you're letting other gamers know, oh, something funny's daddy over here, man. Which is your right as a consumer. And really, I feel your responsibility as a caring consumer. If I'm walking into a restaurant and I see somebody in the grill, under the same scenario, Arby's, and they're spitting in my sandwich and they're like, here, if I don't go over there and fry his face on the fryer after throwing the sandwich at him, anybody else, and I saw that he did that to the person before me, when I walk out, I'm letting people know, whoa. You might want to think twice before you go in there. Because the cooks are spitting in sandwiches. Man, that's crazy. Now, I could tell that to somebody and they're like, oh, well, I'm coming in here. I'm not even getting anything to eat. Okay. All right, fine. That's your business. I'm not going to jump on you, but you sure as hell shouldn't jump on me for standing up for my rights as a consumer. Just because you want to play Clubhouse over a retailer-consumer relationship, that's on you. If the $500 you drop on a console is basically your entrance to the country club, then that's on you. Bravo. Fantastic for you. But you can't push that line of reasoning to everyone else. So just as many under that zealot mind state may think that we have to be cognizant that people aren't going to like when Xbox is talked about, you got to understand that there's way more people that's not going to like when Xbox is not producing. And if you want to live in your own little hub, in your own little corner, while this is being discussed and hashed out from consumers, go do that. But I don't think attacking people or trying to demagogue people that just want what they paid for, I don't think that's the right approach, period. We just get some more chat and then we're going to get right into the show. He says, I hate curly fries. I know you do. You hate fast food. That's why I use your ass as an example. He says, you love Dr. Pepper? Do you love Diet Dr. Pepper? Cold blood. I love Diet Dr. Pepper. I had to stop at my old age. It gave me heartburn. It actually, the acid in the Diet Dr. Pepper was tearing up my esophagus. And rightfully so. It's strong enough to clean off a car, but it destroyed my esophagus. That's why a lot of times when you guys hear me breathing, that's because the issue that I'm having in my esophagus kind of triggers my asthma. I had asthma as a child, grew out of it, and then this issue that I'm having right now actually triggers it. And then I naturally breathe through my mouth anyway, like some heathen. But, now that if you guys hear me, because I've adjusted my mic and I tried to make the voice sound a little bit more crisp, you might hear me like Kendrick Perkins. No, it ain't. Your brother ain't. I'm not 555 pounds with each half of me hanging over my chair. Now it's because my love for Diet Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew destroyed my that pathway. I got horrible acid reflux and it triggers like an asthma effect where I constantly got phlegm, and so it's gross. It's not gross like you see me hockering up, but it's just gross thinking about it. You know what I mean? That's why I have to live a healthier life, consume healthier things to keep that at bay. You know what I'm saying? It's old man problems. He says, I love Dr. Pepper. He says, what do you expect for $1? Exactly, yeah. And he says, I only rely on Cold Eastwood who tells it how it is. Oh, God. But look. Even Colt. Well, maybe not Colt, but other people, like RDX. And shout out to D-Batch. D-Batch be trash. Shout out to D-Batch. I still think he was off target talking about tools and the developers. Why aren't the developers using the tools? No. It's management, man. The management is piss poor. Like the game that you see on the screen right now, it's very clear it has no business shipping. But Microsoft is so off keister and so messed up right now that they're trying to force games to ship when they're not ready. That ain't got nothing to do with using the tools. Riddle me this then. What's Baldur's Gate 3's problem? Why can't that play? Look, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Look, and I get it. I'm known as the Stadia guy. And really I blame Xbox. I blame Xbox for my exodus to Stadia. You know why? Because Xbox got me so hyped up on cloud gaming. Follow my history on the MM2K gaming channel over on YouTube. It got me so hyped up in cloud gaming, I started doing tests around that time. This was way before Stadia even came out. And when it was just Project Yeti, when it was just a rumor. And as I'm testing them out, NVIDIA GeForce Now, Shadow Blade, even PlayStation Remote, I discovered that Xbox was the worst. It consistently came up as I said, whoa, hold on. The biggest talkers of this are the worst? And then came Stadia. And Stadia outperformed all of its peers. And then I said, you know what? Because I started becoming so engrossed in cloud gaming, the delivery system and what it could mean for the future of gaming, that's why I, put my stamp of approval behind the product. The product was fantastic. The direct line people and the direct management working on it, they knew what they were doing. It was the upper brass, the Google Alphabet people that had no idea what they were doing. And it's probably for the best that they're out of gaming. I don't think like what Phil Spencer said, making them the boogeyman. I just think that you would have so much goofy stuff happening because they had no appetite or no idea. That I'm glad that this didn't linger on any longer before they did more stuff. And then with the goofy state of mind that's at that top brass, that then they cut it in because, oh my gosh, it would have been a lot worse. But yeah, everywhere I'm at now, PlayStation, the 15 years before leaving Xbox, I never would have imagined that I would be saying anything good about PlayStation. I was a PlayStation hater. Like me, I'm heavily criticizing Xbox because I'm out of serious concern as a AAA consumer, that even though I like what PlayStation is doing, I don't like the fact that Microsoft isn't a valid competitor anymore, because it's only Microsoft and PlayStation in this space that are battling for AAA content in this particular space. So that concerns me that PlayStation isn't getting any competition, and it also concerns me that that Microsoft actually doesn't have an appetite to compete with them at that level. They want to take their losing strategy that they've dumped a whole bunch of money into, that they thought would propel them to astronomical heights, and turn that losing strategy into a winning one by getting the assistance from regulators. Because they realize they're the only company that can sustain profit. Not profit, but I forgot what the business term is. But to keep dumping money in this fashion into Game Pass and all the other stuff, they're the only ones that can do that. But it's a losing proposal unless regulators make it a winning proposal, right? So we'll see how that pans out. But anyway. Yeah, I'm on PlayStation because Xbox. I need access to AAA games. PlayStation's the best at it. I was on Stadia because I was enthralled with cloud gaming. Microsoft introduced it, kept talking about it to the world. You sit there and you ponder and you think about it. You said, oh, a lot of us said, oh, that would be dope. And then they were the worst at it. So I went to the best at it, which was Stadia. When it comes to the most powerful console in the world. I heard that jargon from the Xbox One X. Come to find out, the PlayStation 4 was dropping games like God of War and other titles that look better than anything on the Xbox One X. So if I wanted the best looking graphics, I went to PC. That's when I got me a 3070 card. But now I have NVIDIA GeForce Now to back me up there. NVIDIA GeForce Now actually kills two birds with one stone, gives me the best graphical output. Yes, as a cloud service, that's insanity. You got to check it out, GeForce Now Ultimate. And it gives me the best cloud, interaction, period. Now, all that's because Xbox didn't deliver. I expected Xbox to deliver on something. Those three things: graphics that they pushed, cloud that they pushed, AAA games that they all those promises that Xbox was the loudest at, they failed at all three. So they pushed me away. They pushed me to Stadia. They pushed me to PC. They pushed me to PlayStation. So, and Xbox gamers need to realize that, yes, and Stadia didn't last the way a lot of people in the community hoped. How we thought that Google would handle it. We thought they would get smarter, and they didn't. But okay, I think it lasted longer than a Dreamcast, or around the same amount of time as a Dreamcast, right? Platforms die all the time, unfortunately. I get PlayStation gamers. I even get NVIDIA GeForce Now gamers, even Amazon Luna, even though they copied a lot of stuff from Stadia. I get them laughing and chuckling. But if you're an Xbox gamer, you have no place, none, to mention or say anything about Stadia's existence in a negative way, because if it wasn't for Stadia, Xbox would have launched on retail xCloud as your alternative to the Series X. There wasn't going to be any S. Remember when it was Lockhart? And then developers complained and whined and said, if you release these two different systems with these two different specs, we're going to cancel. I mean, all we're going to do is scale up from the Series S, and your Series X will be underpowered. And Xbox says, oh no, we don't want that. Okay, so we're just going to have to go with the most powerful console, and then we're going to push out the cloud. And then they saw what Stadia was able to do, and they said, this is unacceptable. We can't push this out. That's why they went into full panic mode, writing letters to their employees and all that other stuff. But it's all been reported. A huge chunk of this came from Brad Sams. So then on came back the Series S, and I believe that's why the GDKs and the development kits and stuff, remember, they were late because they canceled the Series S or the Lockhart at first, and then they brought it back after they realized that our xCloud strategy and combo with the Series X isn't going to work. And that's how y'all came up with that excuse of the tools. And then they end up, and then the developers apparently are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. I mean, look, I can't cap. On paper, the Xbox Series X is stronger than the PlayStation 5, right? Even Digital Foundry is bewildered as what's going on. But I can tell you what's happening. In reading development testimony, stuff that they told y'all they was going to do in 2020 and 2021, stuff that they said was the bottleneck in the Series S, stuff that they were complaining about before the Series S even came. And what did y'all do? And y'all fandom, and y'all pile on fandom, y'all just attacked and ran people off of Twitter and felt like you won because you won the propaganda war. You set yourselves up for disaster because instead of heeding those warnings, now you got a lesser performance box. Instead of you going to the airwaves and saying, hold on, this may be credible. In Xbox, you better make sure this is not what happens. You better figure it out. Instead of doing that, your answer was, don't make us look bad on Twitter. Now a lot of you that are complaining, I don't feel sorry for y'all. I'm going to tell y'all what y'all need to do to get out of this mess. It's simple. I think a lot of y'all already know it, but y'all just refuse to do it. But I don't feel sorry for a lot of y'all. I'm listening to the spaces. I'm in there. I hear a lot of y'all right now saying stuff that y'all should have said years ago. The evidence was already out there. And instead, you decided to go wood, buff, and shield for a logo that they're not giving you nothing. And you're just emptying out your wallet for them. How many years of Game Pass or Xbox Live Gold did you stack up? Just fumbling through games and stuff that you didn't even like. Just for the sake of saying, I'm using Game Pass. But you really didn't like it. And we can tell. That's why you hide your gamer scores. And when they get exposed, you're like, oh, look at this person harassing me in my gamer score. What happened? All the evidence was there years ago. Are you a consumer? And look, hold on one second. I'm going to say something very controversial, and then I'm going to get into my show notes. People aren't going to like this, and I don't care. I truly don't care. Excuse me. Shout out to my brethren over at Triple B. We and other people elsewhere, who learned a long time ago, and shout out to Z, who when he's still mentoring me, but while he was mentoring me at the very beginning of my tenure on social media and creating videos, I never liked Phil Spencer. Like, I never was really into the lore of who this exec was and who that exec was. The only person I ever knew up until then was really Peter Moore. But as I started to educate myself because I wanted to understand what was going on. Hold on one second. I got to call him back. That's my son. My son with the dead rising. All right. So here's my thing. I didn't know who the execs were. The execs were, like, just in the periphery. I just cared about the games. Is he still calling me? Oh, okay. Yeah. And Z was mentoring me, and he was telling me, but I knew something just wasn't right about this Phil Spencer guy. I never, like, my very first video. Go to my very first video on YouTube. And if y'all been following my content, Cold Blood knows I was the biggest Xbox fanboy. Admittedly, I wasn't a zealot. I was a fanboy. There was some cap I put out there about Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Just to defending it, just to defend it. I did that, yeah. Because it was like, even on Xbox's worst day, it's still better than PlayStation. That was my mind state. Even on Xbox's worst day and PlayStation's best day, PlayStation is better. I mean, Xbox is better. Hold on one second. You said you get the Wolverine gloves on Dead Island 2?
Yeah.
Word?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's all nice. I'm telling you.
All right.
Yeah, I got see the you can drop kick legs too. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, bruh. Them graphics is sick. That's why I was getting it on GFM, but I know it looks nice on the PlayStation 5. I'm gonna get it.
Oh yeah, it looks better on PC.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go half season with you on it. I just gotta, I gotta beg the wifey, but I'll get you your cash, bro. Do you work today or are you off?
I got work today. I'm not off until Thursday and Friday.
Oh, okay. What time you gotta be at work today?
30.
All right, okay. So I'm gonna wait because I don't know how the game sharing works. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I'm not playing it when you want to play it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just wait till you go to work and I'll give it a try. All right, but let me call you back, bro, because I'm live right now. I'm gonna call you back.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Oh, that was my son. He's coming through, bro. Yo. That's why. Hold on one second. Hold on. I'm getting excited now. Hold on. I thought my son was stiffing me. I think I mentioned that earlier in the show. No, he didn't know what to do, so I had to send him a pic on what settings to go into. He going to work at 12:30. So maybe after the show, I'll be playing Dead Island 2 on PlayStation instead on the MM2K gaming channel. So stay tuned for that. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. But anyway, yeah, my first video on this channel is Phil Spencer got a promotion and I'm not celebrating. You know what I'm saying? That was my first. Hold on, why? Uh-oh. Now it ain't letting Cold Blood's. I got to play the rest of Cold Blood's comments because it's not letting me load up. Oh, okay, here he goes. Hold on. Let me see. He says, nah, it's PlayStation's fault. He said, okay, let me add them again. It wouldn't let me add them. All right. But yeah, so y'all be doing that. I'll be playing some Dead Island 2 on PlayStation. Anywho, so Stadia, I mean, not Stadia, he put a Stadia question up there. Yeah, Z mentored me, and that's why I owe so much to Z. He was the one that kind of helped me understand that I should be leery of Phil Spencer. And he brought me in as one of the Xbox guys to debate the PlayStation guys. And all the other Xbox guys, they love Phil Spencer. But I was leery about him for some reason. And they could never understand it. And even to this day, they're still mad at me. Yeah, man, you hating on Xbox. I've always been leery of Phil Spencer. And you're about to see why. I'm going to lay everything out on why my leeriness over Phil Spencer is warranted. You know? But shout out to my son. I'm excited, man. I thought he was playing me, but he gonna hook a brother up. Hold on, he just responded to me. Hold on. Oh, hold on. What did it say? He said, "Yeah, you should be good then." Okay, thanks. Word. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so put this. Let me read these final comments and we're going to get right into the notes. He says that janky Best Buy technician don't know what he's talking about. He hyped up the Vegas 64. Oh man, we gotta love these. He said, "No, it's PlayStation folks. As always is most. Don't blame Xbox and Phil. They're the same." You know, a cold blood. There's this meme, and I thought it was so hilarious. It's from JW. He put it out there, where it's like, you know, Scooby-Doo and company, they're like, we're about to find the reason. You know how they always got the guy in the mask, and we're about to find who's guilty of scaring you and all and whatever. So they're like, yeah, we're about to, unveil why Xbox isn't getting any games. And they pull the mask off the culprit, and it's Phil Spencer, and the Scooby-Doo crew says, "Yeah, Jim Ryan, we knew it was you." If that ain't the zealotry within the Xbox community right now, I don't know what is. And again, I feel sad for a lot of you because the evidence was out there years ago. I tried to tell you, but people approach it as that's the Stadia guy. Like, it's not to me, it's not a this versus that as far as I bought this, you bought that, so let's battle it out. Hunger Games. It's not about that. It is, I will advocate for people that are doing well by AAA. I'm going to call out those who aren't. I can appreciate other platforms for what they do, but Microsoft made staunch promises on the AAA front. They're doing all this stuff to the regulators and trying to get them to side with them and just totally change the game just solely in their favor because they need to capitalize on AAA content the most because they don't know how to curate it. And it needs to be called out. So that's why I said, I'm saddened for you, but I don't feel sorry. I'm saddened because you guys are going to go through some hurt. You're going to go through some denial, but you just got to live with it. I did it too. 15 years in my house with an Xbox being the primary device, and all that had to be thrown away. But I'm a consumer. I will show pride. I will be prideful in a product or a service that is servicing me. Like, I love GFN. They treat me good. And I let them know all the time I'm appreciative of our relationship. Not just because, what they may or may not do for me, but because of the product. I'm so ecstatic over the product that I'm appreciative of that. As soon as the product doesn't produce, I may still have a kinship and a like for the people that I interact with, but that appreciation kind of deflates overall because of the product. That's the way it should be. We're consumers. I'm going to give you this scenario one more time. We are not to treat technology, at least technology consumerism, like sports. You want to know why? Because sports is strictly designed to foster brand loyalty regardless of result. That's what sports is. When your team sucks and doesn't deliver, you're supposed to still rally the troops and rally them on and be there till the end because this is your team. This team represents your locale, your municipality, your city, your state, whatever it is. And if they're successful, then you got something to be prideful in, because this is your team based upon where you live. Now, in addition to that, financially, there's benefit. If that team does well, they get more ticket sales, they win championships, that's more money that they get, more that they get taxed from your locale, your municipality, your city, your state, and the more that money from their success goes to fill potholes, make schools better, make libraries better, and the likes. So there's actually a benefit, a trickle-down benefit from you, again, showing brand loyalty regardless of performance. Sports is different. When it comes to consumer goods and services, the companies have no loyalty to you besides giving you something once you give them cash. That's it. They're not coming to your schools. They ain't filling up your EBT cards. They're doing none of that. It is a consumer-retailer relationship. Again, you can show pride in this product. Man, I love this thing, man. It's so great because of this, that, that's fine. But your pride and your brand loyalty never should supersede the consumerism, especially with technology, because technology always requires the retailer half to always be on their P's and Q's and work to deliver the best. When they're not delivering the best, they're not innovating, and a lack of innovation in all things technology is the worst. That is the main sector that requires innovation, is technology. So again, the zealots that are mad at you for expecting what you paid for, you got to put them on mute right now, man. I'm not saying don't ever go back to them. They serve a cause when everything is going right. They're going to be out there with the biggest pom-poms and doing the biggest backflips. That's fine. But right now, you got to put them on mute. Things need to be done. They're not going to get done through zealotry. All right. He says, even in death, the Stadia cap is strong with you, brother. He said, Thrash destroyed these bots multiple times just by showing their good. Yeah, they didn't like it. And look, to be all fair and stuff like that, I don't show my gamer score. But that's out of attrition from me, not me locking down my ID. I had a situation years ago with the Xbox 360 on Xbox Live where I had this guy that he was like out of the Air Force base or something like that. And then I played NBA 2K2 or something like that, or 2K5 all the time with this guy. And then, but I worked like 10, 12 hours sometimes. So there would be like a week or so that I wouldn't play, or there's sometimes I just want to play by myself. And the guy literally was harassing me, bro, to play games with him. And so then I found a way to go offline. He got access to my email. I don't know how he did all this stuff. I mean, I know there's different measures out there right now. I just don't trust it. So I locked down my ID unless I really know who you are. So that's why a lot of you can't just pull up my gamer score just because of that apprehension that I experienced. What was that? 19 or 18 years ago. But trust me, it's not because I don't want you to see my gamer score. I don't care about that. The gamer score really means nothing to me. But what it is a telling sign that look at all the stuff that you're capping for individually, Hi-Fi Rush and all this other stuff, and look at Hi-Fi Rush right now. Now they talking about they disappointed in it. Only 7% of y'all completed that AA game with all the capping that y'all did for it. Insane. But that's Xbox's fault. What Xbox did is took a bunch of zealots, because that's who was putting money into it, is a bunch of zealots who wanted to be part of a clubhouse, who really didn't game. They don't game. Because before Game Pass, they just would maybe buy Halo, Gears, and Forza, maybe, and cap for everything else. And what Game Pass does now is it allows you for a little bit a month to say, oh, now I'm a game. Now I have 1,300 games, available on my Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Now you can pretend you can act more like a sheep in wolf's clothing. The clothing, the sheep's clothing, the sheep costume looks a little bit more elaborate now. But you guys actually still don't play no games. Even when you have access to hundreds of them for pennies on the dollar, you still don't play them. Because again, it's just a big old clubhouse to you. That's Xbox's fault. They created that dynamic. So again, I definitely don't feel sorry for them. All right, let's get into our show notes, all right? So, first and foremost, let's talk about Xbox's poor management. Welcome, everybody. I know we had a whole hour show without me getting into the show notes. Now, this is part of the podcast where we're going to tackle an issue that's been simmering for years. And that's the management of Xbox under Phil Spencer. It's time to call him out for his broken promises and inconsistent leadership. I get that the people like this guy. He seems very nice, which I'm sure he is. Caring, has a true passion for gaming. However, my friends, those are not finite qualities of competence. Sure, if someone in charge can encompass all those qualities as well, you might have one of the greatest CEOs or division heads in the world. However, a competent leader must be 1, results driven, 2, have an executable vision and that coincides with their target demo first and foremost and beyond afterwards for growth, and 3, can successfully motivate others around them to excel. And let's face it, 1, no one seems accountable for these drastic failures. All right. Now, what drastic failures am I talking about? Well, I think what we'll do is we'll put them on the screen. Let's do that. We want to put them on the screen. You know how we do. Let me show you something. In preparation for today's show, I came across this. And this is purebred insanity. I want y'all to look at this. Just look at it. This is purebred insanity. Leaving it up on the screen for you to read. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Just read this. Read that. Read my comments first, and then I want you to read the statement. Hold on. Okay, now that you've read my comments, I want you to read this statement. Oh, no, let's read it together. Laugh my ass off. My God. So much pie in the sky promises that fell flat. No wonder why a big chunk of the base are feeling fed up. The part that tickles me the most is the highlight. It just illuminates. We don't know how to manage our products and services. Regulators help. What am I talking about? Is this section that's out of an older GameIndustry.biz article where Phil Spencer said, in both consumer, now this is them rolling out the Xbox strategy going into this generation, why they're gonna dominate, yada, yada, yada. And I want you to listen to this stuff, particularly the stuff that's highlighted. And I want you to see the failure, the abstract failure, and what their strategy was and how they delivered on that strategy. Because this is a strategy that they tried to sell to you, again, the consumer. In both consumer and enterprise, we are moving from packaged products and towards ongoing engagement and service-based relationships. In gaming, that's exactly what we're driving with xCloud Gaming and with Game Pass. So again, when they sit there and they tell you, oh no, Game Pass was just an option, that's a bold-faced lie. Before Game Pass started to fail, they said in both consumer and enterprise, we are moving from packaged products, that means a la carte purchases, and towards ongoing engagement and service-based relationships, subscription services, all right? And games as a service, all right? And gaming, and that's exactly what we're driving with Xbox Cloud Gaming and with Game Pass. And in both of these areas, Microsoft's assets in cloud and our global footprint are critical. Right? Not an option, critical. But what makes us different from a service like Netflix is we give players both options, a subscription package and also a full retail store. And we're seeing the positive results in our financials. Spencer said, this is the amusing part. Spencer said that Xbox believes it will increase its market share on console because it has both the lowest price next gen machine and the Xbox Series S and the most powerful console in the Xbox Series X. He also stated that Game Pass is turning into a deciding factor in people choosing which console to buy. There, right there, my friends, where I say that you have to be results driven. You have right there 3 litmuses of results where there have been abstract failure. Litmus number 1, the Xbox Series S, which was supposed to open the divide to where it would make it more streamlined, that gamers would go from one generation to the next. Failed. The only thing that it's done is not make Xbox an extreme embarrassment. As I referred to earlier, Xbox had pondered and was willing to execute on the Xbox Series X being the one and only console, and the Xbox Series S not even existing because they temporarily canceled Lockhart, and then after seeing what was being done on the cloud, particularly from Google Stadia, they said, oh no, we have to have a cheaper option. And then they probably also got wind of the fact that PlayStation 5 was going to have a cheaper option too. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's litmus 1. Xbox Series S is failing. Why is it failing? Because it's not competent enough of a next-gen experience. It's actually a bottleneck. You're now being prohibited from playing games on the X because of the underperformance on the S. And Xbox has this parity. If you're going to come to the Xbox Series ecosystem, it has to play on both. And the underpowered S is now hamstringing the overpowered X. And I believe it's hamstringing it even further beyond that, because I believe what's happening, why you're seeing the Series X split so many hairs with the PlayStation 5, the lesser powerful machine, because developers told you that in order to deal with this inconvenience that they have to deal with now developing for this lesser console, they're going to scale up from the Series S instead of scaling down from the Series X. And when you do that, you don't take advantage of the full offerings of the Series X. People are like, well, why aren't you using the tools? Because developers ain't got time for this, man. Especially for the lesser selling console. If you were at least on top, if your marketing was better, if your approach was better, if your strategy was better, and you were running neck and neck with PlayStation, maybe some would consider doing the reverse. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like that people are developing for the S, scaling up, and compromises are occurring. God bless the dead. Shout out to Optimus Code, who was another content creator who told us time and time again, and he was a developer as well. He told us time and time again, God rest his soul, about this same scenario. He spelled it all out years ago, and y'all didn't want to listen to the developers. You rather listen to this guy who has a serious interest in lying to you to get your money. They've been selling you on hope and dreams for the last 10 years. I mean, for the last 7 years prior. Why stop now? It worked. Despite Xbox's poor saturation with the Xbox One, Xbox made more money than they ever did. Because they sold you on a bunch of hopes and lies. Why would they stop? You don't expect the buck to stop with them. The buck has to stop with you as the consumer. All right. The second litmus that shows the abstract failure here is we have the most powerful console in the Series X. This, again, I believe is a direct result of them scaling up from the Series S. This is my belief. I don't have concrete proof to it. I'm just listening to things that I was hearing out in the ethos from the developers because they are scaling up. Excuse me. And not fully utilizing the X. Now you're running into situations where your own first party games, even a year after they've had time on the PlayStation, are performing worse on the world's most powerful console. I don't even think you can say the world's most powerful console anymore. And I don't think Xbox is saying it, and they wisely shouldn't. And the last but most critical failure is Game Pass. Game Pass was supposed to not only put more consoles in homes because of its quote unquote value, but those consoles were supposed to see so much saturation. And what we're discovering is that out of the 25 plus million people that are on Game Pass, only 10 million are on console. There's about probably 70, maybe 80 million Xbox consoles out there. And out of 70, 80 million, only 10 million have Game Pass? What? So this right here, my friends, if anything, shows the absolute failure in delivering and executing your strategy. And now what? Because they gave you all the expectations based upon said litmuses, and they've all failed. So now that you failed because you don't know how to execute, now you want regulators to clean up your mess. It's like if I went to go bake a cake because I wanted to sell some, I want to sell cake. I'm going to bake some goods at home and sell some cake outside, for like a yard sale or whatever, or a bake sale. And you tell me, while these cakes are in the oven, Don't be making a lot of noise or jumping around. The cake will fall. And I'm like, man, get out of here, man. I'm having fun. I'm jumping on my trampoline in the kitchen. Just leave me alone. You're like, dude, if the cake sinks, nobody's going to want to buy that ish. Stop it. And I'm like, man, shut up. Just let me jump. And I'm jumping around. And then the cake, it's time for it to come out. What has happened? The cake has sunken. And I basically go out in the middle of the street, have a hissy fit, and say, oh my God, I know the cake is sunken. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Please help me. I didn't get my medication today. It's not my fault. If you don't buy my cake, I can't get any more medication, and I'm not going to get kicked out of my house. I come up with all these cockamamie excuses when basically all I had to do was follow common practice. I had the right ingredients. I got top of the line oven. I have all the capabilities that were needed. All I had to do was follow suit, follow expectations, and sit my hippity hoppity ass down in the living room until the cakes were done. And that's what happened under Phil Spencer's leadership. Phil Spencer wants the results that focusing on AAA games yields without focusing on AAA games. He's the proverbial baker jumping on his trampoline in the kitchen, but still wants to be able to sell the cake after it's sunken. If you want the results that AAA games provide, then look at what Sony's doing. You could replicate what Sony's doing 5 times over if you're willing to invest in it. And you also got to be willing to get competent people that are going to do it. Not people that are friendly, not people that you like. I mean, all that stuff is great. But as I said earlier, if someone can encompass nice attitude and all that other stuff, that's great. Those are great qualities on top of, but they're not synonymous with a competent leader who does what? They're results driven. They have an executable vision that coincides with their target demo first and foremost, and then can cause growth. And lastly, they can successfully motivate the others around them to excel. So again, this is a classic example of everything that Xbox, they told you their focus right here in this section. That's it. Game Pass, Cloud, Series X and S. This is how we're going to take over the world. And they failed in all 3. And now they want to get it. Okay, we failed there. Give us mobile. Give us mobile. No. Secondly, due to their failure of their vision and their inability to execute Game Pass, they are now looking past their core, which is the console gamers, and now they're sliding them for PC gamers because they're seeing more growth on PC Game Pass. And lastly, the simple fact that every time something goes wrong, the fan base finds a way to blame Matt Booty, Tom Howard, Arcane, Jason Ronald, Bonnie Ross, hell, Shannon Loftus, etc. That's proof within itself that the team is not excelling. However, you got to ask yourself, if all these people are so incompetent and they're the reasons for the failure, why would an effective leader and a competent leader hire them? Does he not bear any responsibility? I mean, surely as things happen at Nintendo or PlayStation, similarly, you rightfully air Doug Bowser and Jim Ryan out. Why with Xbox, it's always the henchman's fault? Is Phil above reproach? Now, you may, in response to that, so you don't sound bad, you may say, no, of course not. But too many listening to this consistently react to the situations where he's responsible for in a different manner. Now, to further accentuate my point, let's go back to the days of the Xbox 360, the console that dominated the PlayStation 3 for most of its life cycle. Now, I know there's debate about this or whatever. There is no debate about the software during, the thicket of that generation. The 360 just dominated in software. Yes, there were, the Xbox had a 36-month stretch where they were in head, and the PlayStation 3 sold more consoles and all others, and then it was fluctuating back and forth as the next generations were coming, and then PlayStation 3, after the 360 generation was forgotten, PlayStation 3 dominated. But that's after the fact. The software sales still are dominant with the 360. So again, to accentuate my point, I want to go back to the 360 era. The console that dominated the PlayStation 3 for most of its life cycle. Back then, Xbox had a keen eye for great AAA games, and it helped produce the first console to give PlayStation a difficult time competitively. But that all changed once Phil Spencer became head of Worldwide Studios, then head of Xbox Gaming. Under Phil Spencer's leadership, Xbox has failed to deliver on its promises time and time again. Time after time. They've simply failed. Over and over and over again. And what I would like to do, if I can find it, and I'm pretty sure I have it here. Hold on, I got all these links here. What was it? I think it was NeoGAF. No. Where is that link at? Give me 1 second. Here we go. Yep, it is NeoGAF. I want to show you guys something real quick. Because a lot of you that are younger, that are newer, like the person I was talking to earlier today, who was like, just saying some things in defense of Xbox, I think, without understanding the complete history. People want to eliminate the 360. Like when they say this stuff, this monopolistic behavior from PlayStation, like they want to make it seem like PlayStation is, this nefarious devil that can't be defeated. No, that's not the case. When you focus on great content, they can be defeated. And they were. For the majority of the 360 generation, they were. And I want to show you why. This is a very distinct list of first and second party exclusives that the Xbox had over the PlayStation 3. And when you look at these stand out and show you why the 360 was dominant. And it was the first time that actually the 360 had more games than the PlayStation 3, again, during that generation's life cycle. As time went on, PlayStations usually have a longer shelf life, so developers will continue to develop AA games and indie games for a long time, when Xbox is like, no, we're done with that. We're trying to move on to the next console. All right, so the Xbox 360 dropped in 2005. These were the games: Cameo, AMP3, Project Gotham Racing, Ridge Racer, Dead or Alive, Perfect Dark Zero. Decent lineup. And I think they should have Prey in there too. They are missing some games. Then we got to remember the Xbox 360 had a year head start. Then in 2006, this is what you got: Far Cry, Instincts, Predator, Rumble Roses, The Outfit, Full Auto, Bomberman, Act Zero, Saints Row, MotoGP 2006, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, Overg Fighter C, Chrome Hounds, 99 Nights, Dead Rising, Import Tuner Challenge, and Dead or Alive Extreme 2. Here's PlayStation 3's launch titles: Ridge Racer 7, Genji Days of Blade, Resistance Fallen Man, Gundam Crossfire, Full Auto 2, Untold Legends. They already had a head start. They're not competing, to what Xbox has to offer in 2006. All right, so let's go to 2007. Now we got Halo 3, Forza Motorsport 2, Crackdown, which the original Crackdown was dope. Tenchu Z, Kingo, Beautiful Katamari, which was a huge casual game. Project Sylphie, Dance Dance Revolution Universe, Fusion Frenzy, Bullet Witch, Ace Combat 6, War Tech, Blue Dragon, which was like a huge cult. Oh, sorry for the mic hit. Huge cult, had a huge cult following on the Xbox. It was a JRPG. Project Gotham 4. PlayStation's exclusives were MotorStorm Lair, Warhawk, Uncharted, Heavenly Sword, Time Crisis, Eye Judgment, Folklore, Ratchet and Clank Tools and Destruction, and Formula One Championship. Outside of Uncharted, you had to be there to witness it. Outside of Uncharted, PlayStation still not getting any buzz. And Xbox, outside of Halo, didn't even put out any heavy hitters yet. Now here goes the 2008 list. Now, granted, this is when Phil Spencer was awarded the job of head of studios, but these games were already negotiated, already signed for, as he's getting into his role in 2008. Lost Odyssey, Call of Deception Saga, Too Human, Infinite Discovery, Viva Pinata, Fable 2, Gears of War 2, Banjo and Kazooie, Dance Dance Revolution Universe 2 and 3, Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom, I love that game, Operation Darkness, love that too, Spectral Force 3, Zoid Assault, Guilty Gear 2, Seen It, Lips, You're in the Movies, Naruto Broken Bond. There was some serious games in Lost Odyssey too. I mean, even Too Human, that was a cult classic. Infinite Fable 2, Gears of War 2. Like, come on. What did PlayStation have? They had Haze, their Ubisoft exclusive, which fell flat. MotorStorm Pacific, Hot Shots Golf 5. They did have Metal Gear Solid 4, but I don't think that did too well for them. Siren, SingStar, Disasterous 3. They had SOCOM Confrontation that didn't do well. Little Big Planet made some noise for them. SingStar, Naruto, Ninja Storm, Buzz Quiz TV, Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. All right. So we saw how Xbox was outperforming PlayStation as far as explosive titles. There are some other titles that were missing, like Mass Effect isn't in here, BioShock isn't in here, I guess because they end up becoming time exclusives. They should have been added. There's a bunch of games that they're missing on the Xbox side. All right. Now, PlayStation 3. Okay, so 2009. Now you're going to start seeing the Halo, Gears, and Forza moniker being repeated. Halo Wars, Halo ODST, one Shambara Bikini Samurai, now Magna Carta 2, that was a nice one. Forza Motorsport 3, Lips number 1, Indie Revolution, Race Pro, Stocked, Cubed. Again, we're a year into or after Phil Spencer has settled into his role. This is what we got. Doesn't look as enticing as previous years, does it? No. Look at 2009 though. Killzone 2, Infamous, for this is PlayStation. Uncharted 2, Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls, Africa, Katamari Forever, and Buzz Quiz. So now you're starting to see PlayStation starting to ratchet things up, and that's why their console started to do better as Microsoft was beginning to devolve beginning in 2009. The PlayStation 3 was starting to evolve. Let's look at Xbox 360 exclusives again. Now they're looking, look at how little they look. Now they're dwindling down. 99 Nights 2. Lips Party Classics. Crackdown 2. Halo, Morph, and Naval Assault. Let's look at PlayStation 3. Mag. iPad. Yakuza 3. White Knight Chronicles. 3 Dot Game Heroes. Gran Turismo 5. Mod Nation Racers. Trinity Universe. A Tale of Aurora. Heavy Rain. God of War 3. Time Crisis. Last Rebellion. And Johnny Day Golf. Okay, now we're a couple of years into Phil Spencer being head of Worldwide Studios. What do we got? Gears of War 3, Forza, Artemis Excellent, Halo Anniversary, Halo, Gears, and Forza. Let me make this bigger in case you guys can't see it. Right? What's PlayStation 3 got? Again, Little Big Planet 2, Killzone 3. They got to drop another Killzone on your ass. SOCOM 4, Yakuza 4, Motorstorm Apocalypse, Desagia 4, Infamous 2, Uncharted 3, Bleach Resurrection, White Knight Chronicles, Resistance 3, Ratchet and Clank 4. You see how they're ratcheting it up? No pun intended. What do we got for exclusives for Xbox 360 in 2012? Halo and Forza and Kai Katana. 2012, the last year before the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 generation. That's what you got from Xbox. What did you get from PlayStation? You got Twisted Metal, A Taylor Maru, Starhawk, Time and Eternity, One Piece Pirate Warriors, Little Big Planet Karting, Ratchet and Clank, Frontal Assault, and then Yakuza Dead Souls. I don't know what else proof I need to show you. What other proof do I need to show you? That's Phil Spencer once he's head of Worldwide Studios. What else do I need to show you? Let's continue. Under Phil Spencer's leadership, Xbox has failed to deliver on its promises time after time. Remember all those heavily anticipated titles that were canceled, like Scalebound and Fable Legends? And what about the serious lack of first and second party AAA games that the platform helped to inspire? The ones that did come out were either very bad, extremely mediocre, or just lost their magic. All right. And I'm talking about, games like Recore, State of Decay 2, Phantom Rush with the original assets, right? And what about Halo? Like, what was that? Halo 5 or like? No, mediocre. Gears 4 and 5 were they lost their magic. By then they lost their magic. Phil promised that the Xbox game production would get better each year, but it never did. Remember, I can't wait till you see what I got next year. Well, I'm really excited about what we didn't show you, all that stuff, right? He promised that VR was coming to the next console, the Series X, but then it was scrapped. He promised that scaling up from the Series S to the X wouldn't harm performance, but it did. We showed you examples of where it seems like their first party games don't even perform well as they did on the competitor's platform, even after they had a whole year of time with them. Right? Xbox even promised they would release a new game every quarter, and they fell way short of that in 2022, right? Look, man, it's time for Xbox gamers who are upset to simply put pressure on Phil Spencer and call him out for his poor management. You simply can't let fellow gamers think it's okay to pay for a next-gen experience and not get it when other consoles are delivering to their customers as promised. Simply put, man, we got to act more like consumers and less like fanboys when we're not getting what we paid for. Don't be fooled. Now, many out there on social media will argue against quote unquote doom and gloom and tell you to continue to be patient, yet continue to support them, right? Now, these zealots have long ago left the arena, as I explained earlier, of adequate consumerism. Instead, ownership of an Xbox is merely a badge to an exclusive club they enjoy because the people seem nice. I like the gatherings. The head of this company wears cool gaming shirts. That guy across the street, though, stays in a stuffy suit and tie. Urgh. These people are not guides on the path best designed for you. You paid for a product based off of XYZ expectations promised. You have been patient enough. Some been as patient as 10 years. You've calculated all the money you've coughed up while being patient. Now you want said benefactor to produce off of all the money you've given them. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyone who does not hold the same line of reasoning is not a consumer, is not your ally during these times. It's like I said earlier, you have to tune the zealots out. Let them sit in their own corner, pick the lint out of their navels, and sniff it and say, "Ooh, this smells like Phil Spencer. He's the greatest." Let them do that all on their own, in a corner, all by themselves. Gamers have waited long enough, and it's time for Xbox to start fulfilling promises and do right by their console gamers. So what can you do about it? Well, simply put, look, I'm doing all this yelling, spitting over my pop filter. I'm gonna have to like let this thing sit and bleach overnight, but I'm doing it for a reason. I'm simply trying to tell you that it's time to speak up and demand better from Xbox. And don't just do it on social media. Oh, God forbid. Please don't just go on social media and be like, this is an L for Xbox. They don't care. It doesn't matter if you're still giving them your money. It's not an L for them. It's an L for you. You need to make it clear that you will not continue to accept broken promises and inconsistent leadership. It's time to put the pressure on Phil Spencer and demand change. And you do that with your wallet. So in conclusion, Xbox has been mismanaged under Phil Spencer's leadership. It's time, as gamers, and you got to make the decision. What are you? Are you a gamer? Or are you a zealot that simply wants to support the brand logo and your $500 that you paid for your Xbox was simply entrance fee into this exclusive club? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're hearing all this and there are no issues for you, and you're just like, well, I see these people complaining and they're complaining, that's fine with them. It has nothing to do with me. That's different. You're fine. If you're happy with what you got, that's fine. But I'm talking about those in the thicket of this debate, of this argument. Those that are like, look, enough is enough. It's time that we get better. And those that are trying to squelch the voices of those that simply want what they paid for. It's time as gamers to take action and demand better with your wallets. You gotta hold Xbox accountable. And if I could, let me just give you some scenarios of what I've done. Because I've been here. Again, and shout out to everybody in the chat, Sean L., even my homie Proper's Place. You know, I think that Proper, Sean L., whoever else is listening that isn't in the chat yet, that Dr. Spaceman, whoever else that supports this platform, shout out to all of y'all. We can attest that Stadia for instance, had a lot of quantitative attributes. Now, we may be on different scales on how quantitative those attributes were. You know what I'm saying? But we felt like that, there was enough cause there to garner our interest and to garner excitement for the platform, right? But I think we all can in unison agree that, yeah, there was a lot of hate for the platform. And there was a lot of hate that hamstrung the platform. But Google's the one that decided to pull the plug. They're ultimately responsible for pulling the plug. If you want to, get on anybody's case about why this was being said, that's a whole nother show. But their inability to stay in this and do the grind. And I love what Doc Dark said. Doc Dark described it as Google just simply didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze. So nobody's out. I mean, even the most staunchest Stadia enthusiasts, nobody can defend Google for this move. I haven't seen anybody defend Google for that move. Nobody, including myself. I mean, the day that they closed, I essentially said this move says that they essentially said F you to you, the consumer. So I can't get mad if you say F you back. Even in brand excitement or borderline brand loyalty, you have to be a consumer more important than anything. And it's important to understand that if you are expecting AAA content, I get that there's amenities on Xbox that you may appreciate, that you may like better, but a lot of that is superficial now. Let me explain to you why. And I said this to our members in our members podcast, and hopefully you guys can understand. As someone who, I want to say maybe a year prior to me actually leaving the Xbox, like that year, my final year as an Xbox consumer, I was like, I wanted to go before then, but I was fearful, like elsewhere. It's just, this isn't going to be, I've gotten so used to this and I've gotten so used to that and this, that, and that. It's like, have you ever been in a job, the job is not good for you. You're not growing in the job. It's not benefiting you. It's causing stress. Your hair is falling out. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to look like Homer Simpson. It's bad for you in so many ways, but you've gotten comfortable. And you're afraid of what's quote unquote out there, that it's just not going to be as good. It's going to be even worse. I'm here to tell you, it's not worse. Not worse than what you're getting now. Like, you'll hear a lot of people that will say, well, I like Xbox because of its online infrastructure, and PlayStation's online infrastructure sucks. Look what happened to them with the PlayStation 3. Okay. Understandable. I felt like that way too, but I'm here to tell you, as a PlayStation consumer, and again, as the brand, we're Call of Duty, the biggest online games out there are being played the most, by far the most, on PlayStation. That is no longer an issue. They have enacted two-way authentication. PlayStation has gotten serious about their security. That is no longer an issue. And dare I say, the infrastructure issues that we used to experience all the time, hearing about PlayStation being down and PSN being down, all of this stuff. At the end of the Xbox One generation, remember how that flipped? It was Xbox One down all the time. So that whole thing, I mean, we're splitting hairs now when we're talking about which one is more stable. They're both on the same kill right now. They're both on an even kill. So as far as online infrastructure, there's no issue. Oh, well, I like the Xbox controller. The Xbox controller. Look, PlayStation was aware of that. And that's something that I said last gen too. I said, and a lot of people got mad at me. I said, look, let's be honest. Next to online, a lot of people are afraid to make the switch from Xbox because of the controller. If it wasn't for if PlayStation starts offering Xbox design controllers with the thumbsticks, diagonal, it's a wrap. What did PlayStation start doing? It started offering controllers, signature controllers with the thumbstick. So even if you're worried about latency and you don't want to get like an adapter or something like that, and you want to get, there are plenty of feasible, great PlayStation joysticks that have the thumbsticks diagonally. So you ain't got that. And the DualSense controller, it's within itself. Like it's probably easier for me to say because I played on Stadia and that's the same design that the Stadia controllers had. But the DualSense controller is a great controller. It's a fantastic controller. All right. Well, all right. Okay. Maybe I'll get over online. Maybe I'll get over the controllers. But my friends, they're all over on PlayStation. Look, I bet if you're mad, your friends are mad too. And if they're used to playing with you guys, if you guys want to make an exodus, like now's the time. Like, why are you continuing to receive less? If you really want to make the swap, now's the time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Game Pass is a disappointment. The game sales are a disappointment. xCloud. I mean, yeah, they're doing their damn thing with Fortnite, but all the initiatives that they had with xCloud, Keystone, and a la carte purchases, that's all going on the wayside. And they've even ran to the regulators and said, yeah, xCloud sucks. They said that, not me. They said that. The consoles aren't doing what. Why? If you feel the way that you feel, I'm pretty sure out of your gaming group, the majority of them feel the same way too. And it's just a matter of you being fed up enough for you to talk to them. My brother when I was very concerned with PC gaming, and he was always a PC gamer for a long time, he convinced me to get into PC gaming because we game together all the time. Me, him, and his friend. We game together all the time. And really convinced me to get into PC gaming. And I love PC gaming. I've always loved it, even though it's always fluctuated as far as how often I use it. But it's the main reason why I'm so gung-ho on NVIDIA GeForce Now, because I'm used to some of the rigors of PC gaming, but NVIDIA GeForce Now, particularly Ultimate tier, takes away a lot of that inconvenience. It just makes it plug and play for me. So I get the best of both worlds. I get the best of the power behind PC gaming, and the options that PC gaming provides. And now I get the plug and play ability of pretty much a console, thanks to NVIDIA GeForce Now. So, I mean, that's an option or a supplement to your gaming experience as well. But I'm pretty sure you can find, if you feel that way, there are more people that are having this discussion. There are more people that are disappointed with Xbox, I believe, that are going into that aren't. I don't want to just. There's three groups. There's the extreme sides. There's the zealot side. There's the side that is fed up, and then there's the people in the middle. Just like, I get where you guys are coming from, but I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what not to say or what to say. You do you. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm happy. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are fed up, I guarantee you there's more within your group that are fed up too. And it's just a matter of making the case for making the move. You know what I mean? Gamers do it all the time. What do you think what happens when, all right, everybody was gaming on PlayStation 2. Then they went to the 360. Then they went to the, you know what I'm saying? Then they went to the Xbox. I mean, you know, and then they left Xbox and they went to PlayStation. You know, gamers move and migrate all the time. And last but certainly not least, you hear so much about subservice. Yeah, the subservice. This game is gonna drop in there day and date. Look, I'm gonna say this to y'all. Let me say this to y'all. If you're a gamer that's fed up, and maybe the thing that's holding you back is Game Pass. Maybe if you know Game Pass is a big thing for you, but you're fed up and you're scared that you're not going to get something comparable to Game Pass. Let me explain this to you. What is it that Game Pass is offering you that is that's worth your $10.99 or $15.99 a month or $14.99 a month? What is it that they're offering you? I mean, there may be things that interest you, but again, how many game experiences have you had in Game Pass to where if you take that money, what is that? Within the last year, let's just do a year's total. What's 122? I think it's 180. Have you gotten your $120 and $180 worth with Game Pass? Or were you better off just playing the games that you really enjoyed a la carte? Now add an additional 120 to 180 to that. So now we're talking about 240 to 360. Why am I adding another year? Because all the way up until the end of this year, if you were upset because you're not getting the next gen experience that you want, you're still, if you still stay stuck there because you're like, oh, I'm going to wait for Game Pass to become the ultimate value for me. If you're still waiting, mind you, you're going to be paying, again, that additional 120 to 180 for experiences that you're upset about. One, Redfall. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, was Redfall. You're pissed off about that, right? It's going to launch at 30 frames per second. And secondly, if Redfall is launching at 30 frames per second, I think we can pretty much bet our money on Starfield launching at 30 frames per second. Now, if Starfield launches at 60, okay, I can understand that. But what I want to say in counter to that is PlayStation Plus is extremely robust. I find I can't remember the last game that I played on Game Pass for personal reasons was Tunic. I find myself in PlayStation Plus all the time because of their offerings. It was a great mergence of PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. I love it. It's fantastic. The demos and stuff. Oh man, and these aren't not just run-of-the-mill demos. These are demos of games like the Borderlands. What's the Wonderland game that just came out? A bunch of heavy hitter games. We got Horizon Forbidden West in there. That's a hell of a game. You got some great games in that subscription service. And I think if you take a look at the lineup, there's more games in there, depending upon the tier that you get. And secondly, the top-notch games, the top-tier games that are in there are just simply better. The top-tier games in there are simply better. And that's ultimately what I think people sign up for Game Pass for. You want to be able to get a bundle of top-tier games at a low subscription price. If that's your goal, then PlayStation Plus is outperforming Game Pass at this moment. And it might outperform it for the remainder of the year. Why? Because you know if Starfield, if you're upset about this Redfall news and you got triggered from that like everyone else, then you know you're not going to want to play Starfield in 30 frames per second. And that is the dire circumstances that we're looking at. So are you going to drop another 120? Another 120 to 180? To again, just sit there and hope and wish that something changes? Oh, well, it'll be a value when Avowed comes. Yeah, okay. So again, if you are serious, you have to understand you're going to talk with your wallet. Get serious and start having the conversations about making the shift to PlayStation. Have the conversations about making the shift. Have them seriously. Start mapping this stuff out. Start talking about you know what, PlayStation Plus Essential or Premium. It definitely, it actually isn't bad. It actually does seem to be better at the moment than Game Pass. Oh man, yeah, all I had to do was do this and that. Come on. Start having the conversations. Let Xbox know that they're serious, that you're serious. And if you're serious, then they'll take you seriously. And maybe they'll do better, and maybe you won't have to go. But right now, they have no incentive. They just essentially told you, the console gamer, screw you. If you want what we promised you, you got to get it on PC. And you guys know you're not PC gamers. Trust me, and if you haven't tried PC gaming, you're not PC gamers, okay? You are on console for a reason. That's where you belong. All right? So, a lot of stuff to consider, but that's my big foray into the issues with Phil Spencer and Xbox. This all lies at his feet. It all lies at his feet. He is responsible. A fish rots from the head. Like I said earlier, we can't sit there and want to blame everybody under the sun, right? We want to sit there and blame Matt Booty, Todd Howard, Arcane Studios, Jason Ronald, Bonnie Ross, Shannon Loftus, was Terry Myerson. I'm going even back. We can't blame those people anymore. If all these people that I named prior to Terry Myerson are so bad, guess who their leader is? Guess who's keeping them in that place or kept them in that place? Shannon Loftus only got bumped down and she ended up retiring or leaving only after she called somebody fat on Twitter. That was the straw that broke the camel's back with her, not her performance. Why? Because you really can't blame her performance because she's just following the poor planning from her boss, Phil. It's not her fault. So we can't hold her accountable. She's just doing the best that she can to do his bidding. And all these people abstract to Phil, they have been more than competent. Todd Howard is one of the most decorated developers in the world. Now all of a sudden, they don't know how to do their jobs. Matt Booty, they don't know how to do their job. I think Matt Booty was for Midway, with Kareem Yap. Now all of a sudden, these people don't know what they're doing? What is the common denominator here? When are y'all going to wake up? It's Phil Spencer, damn it. I don't know what hold this guy has on y'all. I don't know. Again, I think it's more, it feels like a clubhouse thing. It feels like, I get tired of these stuffy execs with these suits on, and this guy looks nice. He looks like he really cares, and that's great and all, but the caring in the, oh man, kumbaya, let's play every game together and be my friend. Join me on Xbox Live. That is not equivalent to an effective leader. I don't need Phil to play games with me. I got friends for that. And I question if a lot of you that just fall under Phil's spell, if I just ain't got no friends. Make them online under a competent system. Don't try to make friends with an exec. It never works out for you. That's it. for my diatribe on Phil Spencer. Golly, man. Hopefully we'll do better. All right, give me a second. I want to readjust this mic and some stuff. Give me one moment. And then we're going to get into the next part, which is a palate cleanser for all this. The PlayStation dominance. Give me a second. All right. Before I go into the next section, let's do this. Let's read some comments. Because I got a lot of them. Let's see here. Oh, we got my brother Proper's Place in the house, man. What's up, Proper? Good to see you, my brother. All right. He says, nah, it's PlayStation. Oh, I read that one. Cold Blood says, I read that one too. All right. Okay, I read that one. Shout out to my brother's Proper's Place. He says, why are you yelling at me? He says, Halo, Gears, and Forza. Get Kids moving here to sing us the song. Great console war song. There was another song. Shout out to Chris. He dug up another Kid Smooth song. It get my Xbox. Something, I don't know what the hell he was singing. Oh my gosh, it's comical. Get my Xbox. He says, no, don't speak up. Everything is great in Greenlands. He says, can I drop a link for hilarious I find it hilarious what I just read. Yeah, go ahead, drop the link, bro. Go ahead, do it. Go ahead, do it. Love my Xbox. And again, while we're waiting for Cold Blood to give us this link while we transition to the next section, I just want to say this. Again, I'm not saying this because it's like, I'm siding with PlayStation, and so therefore, because I'm siding with PlayStation, I must destroy Xbox. It's not about that. And that's what I was getting out of that conversation that I had earlier, like I said, with the person I like, because their first response was, well, Stadia isn't doing great. Okay. I don't run Stadia. What does that have to do with me as a consumer? Like, people base their whole livelihood on, you caught an L on social media, so my gaming experience is great. Like, they don't coincide, okay? I'm looking at this purely from a consumer's perspective. Purely from a consumer perspective, Xbox is not doing its job. We need them to do their job. Why? Because they keep all the competition out there honest. Even if you do favor PlayStation, they keep PlayStation honest. And we need more than just one entity out there focused on quality AAA gaming. So this isn't oh yeah, I like Stadia, so yeah, you got me there. Xbox must be okay. No, it still doesn't change everything that I just said, that I showed you earlier. That Xbox has failed. They laid out their vision. Xbox Series S and X, Game Pass, xCloud, and they failed. Your win on social media does not supersede that fact. They failed. Let's see if Cold Blood was going to drop the link. Oh, there he goes. He dropped it. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. All right, let's put this up here. Oh yeah, yeah. I saw this. Yeah, this is interesting too. This is just the icing on the cake. Yeah, Xbox is working on a mystery sequel that it says could take 10 years to make. This was revealed during the court documents with the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit against Xbox from gamers to block them from getting Activision Blizzard. And I remember Xbox fandom was laughing when it got thrown out the first time, and now it's going through its second pass. It's like these gamers are serious, and I'm with them. You know, I mean, I wouldn't go the lawsuit route, but I'm not mad that they did. Because here's the thing you got to think of with all this mismanagement, all of it, all this mismanagement, they told you what their vision was. Xbox Cloud Gaming, Game Pass, Xbox Series S and X. Those three things have failed. Do you want your favorite games and your favorite publishers to continue to be absorbed? And this, let me say this real quick and then I'm gonna move on. I don't think he'll mind. My brother Post Up, me and Post Up were having a conversation after PlayStation absorbed the latest company. It was Firewalker or Firestar, something like that. We were having this conversation and Post Up was like, see, when Xbox tries to make an acquisition, y'all go to block it. When PlayStation goes to make an acquisition, y'all celebrate it. See? Keep the same energy. And I responded, I was like, Posted isn't the same. PlayStation is absorbing companies that people don't even know who they are. I mean, these are effective companies, but they don't know who they are. And in this one company that he just absorbed, or PlayStation just absorbed, they didn't even make a game yet. They have an idea for a game, right? That was my argument, right? And I felt pretty comfortable in that until I thought about it today. And I got to admit, after rethinking it, no, Post is right. Consolidation is bad, and that is consolidation. But here's the problem. PlayStation doesn't do this unless Xbox is doing what they're doing. So that fits our narrative altogether. That Xbox is turning the industry into a way that's not going to benefit gamers. All this consolidating, whether you're consolidating games or studios, is not good for the industry. But it's happening. So now we're in a situation where we're like, well, damn, now that Pandora's box has been opened, now we got to sit there and rally who's going to be absorbed by who. And that's why you see people celebrating the latest acquisition or consolidation. He is right. It is consolidation. Because I'd rather them be under PlayStation than be under the horrible management of Xbox. It's not because I want PlayStation to win. I just want these games to be under the management of competent companies. This is not a competent company. Jeff Grubb just reported that Xbox isn't happy with where Xbox is at. But you got zealots out here that'll tell you the opposite. Xbox is in a great position. Xbox doesn't feel that way. They don't. And we didn't need Jeff Grubb to tell us that. Look at the court documents. We can't compete. They're a business. If you believe what Microsoft is saying, if you wholeheartedly believe that they can't compete, they're being hamstrung by Sony, they're trying everything that they can, but Sony's doing a monopoly. If you truly believe that, why would you think that they're happy with the position that they're at? They're not happy. That's why they went to the tune of paying $70 billion, $80 billion, you can argue, to get some of the biggest IPs out there. IPs that you were already getting. Why? Because they're not happy with the management job that they've done themselves. So they got to go and grab stuff that they feel like is already going to be popular and absorb it and keep it to themselves. Or benefit from it themselves. We didn't need Jeff Grubb for that. They're not happy. Because they suck. So it's not about saying, oh, I want PlayStation to win. I just don't want these games absorbed by a company that sucks. Xbox sucks. And they've told you every which way that they suck themselves. Every year, last year was bad. 2020 was bad. We're going to do better in 2021. No, 2021 was bad. We're going to do better in 2022. Oh, yeah, 2022 was bad. We're going to do better in 2023. They tell you every year they suck. And the next year is going to be better. They spelled it out in court documents. Do we really need Jeff Grubb to come and tell us this? Cold Blood Sensei says, 10 years for a sequel? Yo, I'm dying. How are we already waiting 10 years for something from Xbox? And now they say wait another 10 years. God. It's probably Gears. They're probably going to reboot Gears or something. At this point, who cares? I don't care what Xbox is doing until they either get rid of Phil and do better with the leadership, or there's a serious coming to Jesus moment over there. I really don't care. But this is my responsibility as a content creator to report on this stuff. All right, let's get out of here. Well, I'm done. I'm sick of talking about these losers. Let's talk about it. PlayStation dominance. PlayStation is killing it on the gaming scene. It's unbelievable. Let me see. It's unbelievable how much they've been carrying console gaming on their back. I thought I had NPD, or what is their name now? Sakana. I thought I had the Sakana reports saved. Hold on. Let me pull them up. Okay. So Sakana, which was formerly in MPD, dropped their March 2023 data. Very interesting stuff. Right here even tells you PlayStation lifted hardware spending in March. However, this growth was offset by a decline in content spending, where increase in non-mobile subscriptions as well as digital add-on content was offset by lower spending across premium games. So the lack of activity pretty much on other platforms is what brought down PlayStation. When you look at this month, let's see here. You got Last of Us Part 1 that's in the top 10. What else you got? You got God of War that's still charting top 20. And that's it when you look at the top games in March. However, when you still look year to date, the calendar quarter number 1, PlayStation has 3 games. 3 games. And Last of Us, God of War, and surprisingly Forspoken. That just rounds out the top 15 in there. So again, if you look at the last 6 months of gaming, you got some quality content from Xbox, from PlayStation. This is acceptable. This is what people expected. They are showing you what you should expect when it comes to AAA performance. And people are showing their appreciation for that. How are they doing so? Look at the sales chart themselves. Forspoken is still charting. Even though we're talking about Jeff Grubb letting us know that Hi-Fi Rush fell short of expectations, and people foolishly tried to make that comparison. Let's see. Where else? did they talk about PlayStation dominance? This is growth in PlayStation 5. This is the insane part. Growth in PlayStation 5 hardware spending once again drove the March hardware gains. PlayStation 5 was the best-selling hardware platform in units and dollars for both March as well as 2023 year-to-date. PlayStation 5 unit sales have now surpassed those of PlayStation 4 on all-time aligned basis. So we had PlayStation 4 that outperformed PlayStation 2. And already PlayStation 5 is outperforming the PlayStation 4. We know the PlayStation 4 sold gangbusters. The PlayStation 4 totally destroyed the Xbox One. We know that. But now, versus what Matt Piscatella is saying, what we've also heard from Benji Sales about the trajectory of the Xbox business versus PlayStation business, that it's starting to look like last gen all over again. And that's why I did so much emphasis on the last part, because it was supposed to be different. And if you follow my content, despite mainly the zealots, I mean, I get that there was enthusiasm. I even talked to a lot of zealots about this enthusiasm. I predicted it. I knew, because I understand the psychology of people, I knew that there was going to be a lot of anticipation, because Microsoft is great at its words play and its manipulation of people who really want to see the platform do well, who really want to see it do well, and they want to believe in this nice, impressionable person who is Phil Spencer. They want to believe, like, look, if this guy who is nice, who is courteous, who cares about people no matter what you look like, or regardless of your ethnicity or any of that stuff. If this guy is successful and he changes the face of the gaming CEO, gaming will be better. That's what people think. And because of that particular want, they kind of wave off the competencies. And they try to force the competencies where they don't exist. It's not Phil's fault, or it was this, or PlayStation. They put blame everywhere else, because they want to force this guy's success. That's what it is. They will force his success to their own detriment. A gamer is not going to put games and gaming above anything else in their experience, in their gaming experience. That is paramount. They can care less who's behind the CEO chair or the head chair. They don't care. You have to give me what I want. And that's why I say that the fandom has become too saturated. I won't say that it's overrun, but it's become too saturated with people who simply look at the Xbox or anything in the ecosystem as an entryway to the club. The end game is just simply buying the Xbox or simply signing up for Game Pass. Once you've done that, you have now entered the exclusive club. Everything else is Gucci. Opposed to a gamer who says, look, I have specific gaming needs, and I believe an Xbox can meet those gaming needs. And when those gaming needs aren't met and you speak up, you then have the clubhouse people that come in and try to shut you up. That's where you're at. So they're dominating NPDs. Let me see if I can find. I should have benchmarked Benji Sales stuff. I thought I benchmarked Benji Sales. I guess I did. Let's see here. I thought I benchmarked Benji Sales, but if I didn't, that's okay, because I have Benji's stuff over here. See? Hold on, give me a second. Oops. No, I already had it in the game. Oh, I didn't even show y'all the Matt Piscatella stuff. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Where is the... Oh, man, there it goes. All right, so here goes Benji sales. Let me put this back up there. Sales. Thread 1 and then thread 2. So to further accentuate my point, and I really should have showed this last because I really want to stop talking about these losers. Benji said, I have to be frank and honest. Xbox have a hardware sales problem on their hands currently. And they talk about what it is, and they really need to turn things around. He says get quality. He says the things they need to do: get quality first party games, greatly improve the Series X shipments, improve and increase marketing. Those are 3 key factors. According to Jeff Grubb, Xbox is fully aware they're not happy about their positioning. So again, that's another reason why you need to not listen to the zealotry. But then I want to say, in contrast, look what's going on over here. This is Europe data. PlayStation 5 is up 400%. The Q1 hardware is up 369%. And I bet you if you look at all these games, they've overwhelmingly are sold probably 2-to-1 on PlayStation. So I'm saying this again to those that not only are just curious on what PlayStation's doing productivity wise, but why a lot of people are flocking to PlayStation. As someone who used to hate on the console profusely, who has now looked at where it's at currently, looking what it's offering currently, I can now say, no, this makes perfect sense. And again, all my arguments and all my case that I give is not based upon somebody who wants to win an argument on Twitter. I could care less about that. I want to get through to the consumer. I want to let the consumer know, hey, look, here's a viable option. Just give it a shot. So Xbox Gamer, I'm here to let you know that, okay, you may not be willing to do it today, but if things continue on this trajectory, don't wait another year. Don't wait for the next game. Don't wait for E3 again. Make the move. As someone who was scared to do so myself, and when I made the move from Xbox, I want to say that the offerings from the alternatives weren't as good as they are now. Like, I love GeForce Now. It's very competent. So if you do want to see top-notch fidelity, AAA quality gaming from a multi-plat standpoint, you need to try GeForce Now Ultimate. And if you have AT&T, you can go to AT&T.com/gaming and look through the options. And if you have AT&T cell phone service, that is, you can get 6 months free of NVIDIA GeForce Now Ultimate tier. All right. They're also running a special on their priority tier. That's their 2080 tier that runs like, similar to the 2080 cards and stuff like that. So that's a very competent tier as well. You get like 1080 performance out of them. You know what I'm saying? And it's very competent as well. Yeah. So it's a great service, but there's a reason why PlayStation is dominating the way that they are. It's a very competent service, and really for AAA gaming all the way around, PlayStation is your best option right now. If you are someone who is upset about what is happening over at Xbox and you can't buy both, you can only afford to be invested in one ecosystem or the other. It's understandable. I'm letting you know that it's well worth getting invested in the PlayStation ecosystem. And if you're really hard up about getting into AAA gaming, NVIDIA GeForce Now is a great option. GeForce Now Ultimate in particular is a great option if you want to try gaming on the go. Because quite honestly, xCloud ain't going to cut it if you're a AAA gamer. PlayStation cloud service ain't it yet. They're locked at 30 frames per second. That's not going to do it if you're a AAA, hardcore gamer. But I think the combo of NVIDIA GeForce Now and PlayStation Now, it does well for me. I think the majority of your needs are going to be met with PlayStation. But if you want to get into nuanced tech that's really shining and is really performing at a super high level, give NVIDIA GeForce Now Ultimate a try. But there's a reason why, again, if you're apprehensive about PlayStation, there is a reason why PlayStation is up 400%. There's a reason. There is a reason. And trust me, all those fears of the controller and the online infrastructure, they don't, those are wives' tales. They existed at one point in time. They're wives' tales now. They don't exist anymore. Give NVIDIA GeForce, give PlayStation 5 a try. You won't be sorry. And my son, who was on the phone with me, he's a convert from Xbox. He was like, Dad, Xbox. I said, I had Game Pass. He had a Series X, I believe. He had Game Pass and a Series X. He said, Dad, it's just not doing anything for me. And I said, son, you gotta go to PlayStation. Go to PlayStation. He said, all right. I went to PlayStation. And now the rest is history. You can hear the enthusiasm. He has like a real melatonin voice. Yeah, Dad. Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, I was playing, you know what I'm saying, Dead Island 2. Yeah, but he was excited. That's him excited. He was excited. Yeah, I mean, and I'm happy for him, man. I went to go visit him a couple days ago, Monday, first thing he did as soon as we got in is he ran right back to his PlayStation. He was sitting there playing. I was like, Dad, bro. I was like, you digging it all like that? And he was like, Dad, look. Showed me. He's like, look, man, I pre-ordered Dead Island 2, bro. I can't wait. He stayed up till midnight playing, you know what I'm saying? You missed some of the conversation because it was cut off. But again, he was a disgruntled Xbox person who was scared at first. And I sat there and I said, son, y'all remember, because he remembers when he was younger in the 360 generation days, I wouldn't let them touch my 360. So I gave them the PlayStation 3. And they always wanted to touch the 360, but then they got used to the PlayStation 3. And then as he got older and he became an adult, he finally got him an Xbox. He got into Xbox. He tolerated the Xbox One generation. But then coming into this Xbox Series generation, he's like, yo, bro, this just ain't it. He said, I want big ticket games. And I'm thinking that Game Pass was going to give me a regular supply of it. It ain't doing it, bro. And he doesn't look back. He's excited again. And that's all we want. If you're happy and you're excited with Xbox, fine. That's you. And you're okay. And it's okay for you to be excited. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get people to either stand up to help influence the AAA experience that they deserve, or simply put, if they're not going to get it where they're currently at, we're best to move to for their particular likes. And like I said, there's a reason why PlayStation is killing it right now. All right. Okay. Last but not least, I don't have much to say on Dead Island 2, except for I'm not a big fan in the current conversation. Dead Island 2 currently has like an average Metacritic score of 75. So people are like, oh, it's mid or whatever. I've been watching video, talked to my son, have familiarity with the game. I'm going to tell you, if there's probably any game that you should ignore the masses on because they're just cheap, I would, and again, they don't have experience, but they just see a score, an aggregate score somewhere, and they live and die for that. It's probably this game. So many cool things visually that I see with this game, and I just feel like the ambiance is just going to take it to a whole nother level. So I'm going to try it. Hopefully I can try it on PlayStation. My son said that he claims that he got it to work, our game sharing. If not, then I'm going to be playing on GFN. But if works on PlayStation, you're going to continue to see me playing on PlayStation for the day, as we want it to be that way. So with that said, that's it for the show part. That's it for me babbling part. Let me now go to the chat. See here, last few comments from the chat, and then we'll close out. He says, I don't think it's the entire team that sucks. It's Phil and Aaron that suck. I don't think Aaron sucks. Aaron is the marketing guy. I like Aaron Greenberg, but you know what? I don't think that it's his fault, because when you're the marketing guy, unless you're going, now I have worked with a marketing person who goes out and makes stuff up. I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he gets bad information because it just from the poor management. The left hand don't know what the right hand's doing. And I think when Aaron Greenberg went out there and said that whole thing about standard will be 60 up, and we when people try to aim for 120 at the most, that's what he got. He's not a technician. He don't know. He's not in there fusing the microchips. That's what he was told. That just tells you something as vital as that as far as your communication. You don't see Xbox. I mean, you don't see PlayStation messing that up. Not saying that PlayStation don't make mistakes, but you don't see PlayStation messing that up. You don't see Nintendo messing that up. It's only Xbox. So I don't blame Aaron Greenberg at all. This is all Phil Spencer. A fish rots from the head. If y'all want better, man, for all intents and purposes, you either got to scare the bejeebas out of Phil to get him to understand that his vision of what gaming should be is not what you want gaming to be. That he can create like a sub-world that fits what he wants. But he works for you. You don't work for him. And in this current fandom, I feel like that instead of you being a consumer and making these companies understand that they work for you, that a lot of these people feel like that they work for Phil Spencer. You know what I mean? So, no, it's all Phil Spencer. He says, oh, yeah, I forgot, hands off his first Booty. He is the biggest joke of a head of an exec. I don't think Matt Booty is that much of a problem. Again, I just think it's just a trickle-down effect of following this incompetent vision and poor execution of this incompetent vision. These people elsewhere have, Aaron Greensberg, before Phil Spencer came, did his job and did it very well during the 360 era. All these people became incompetent when? They couldn't all of a sudden deliver when Phil Spencer came. Hell no, PlayStation lacking heart, bro. Nah, Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man ain't enough. Well, you did make the argument earlier, Cold Blood, that you weren't happy that Spider-Man was the only announced first-party game. So, do you truly believe that? No. I guess you are. You do believe that. He said it ain't enough. I'll say this. I'm not going to say that you're necessarily wrong. That's why I always make the argument that I'm not saying that PlayStation is perfect, but they're the only ones trying to deliver AAA quality content. They're the only ones doing it. Do we want to see this at a bigger frequency? Absolutely. Yes, I'm with you there. I won't say that they're lacking, but I would like to see more. I agree with you. I would like to see more coming from them. You're 100% right there. Once a bot, always a bot. Y'all go back to Xbox soon. Your son just to pretend PS. No, hey, bro. Let me tell you something. Me and my son don't talk video games until recently. But one day we was on a drive somewhere for a long time. And he kind of was like, hey, Dad. Because he knows what I do. He said, Dad, I gotta talk to you about something. I'm like, oh shoot, what did this mug do, man? I said, what did he do? He said, Dad, no. I'm really, I come home from work. I just want to unwind and chill for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Dad, I don't watch TV, but I play games instead. That's normal, right? In our world. He said, Dad, I can't find no quality games, man. And literally the whole drive, we're talking about his desire to, he was really distraught. Dad, I got this Xbox. I was told it was the most powerful, this, that, and the other. He said, Dad, I know, we always wanted your Xbox. He said, but now the Xbox just ain't it, bruh. He said, I need something. And that's when I convinced him. I said, look, bruh, you gotta go to PlayStation. He's like, is PlayStation really? I said, look, man, all that stuff that we used to fear about PlayStation and PlayStation this and all this negative energy that people try to give, all this superficial stuff that PlayStation's a grimy company. They're all grimy. Xbox just has this fake avatar called Phil Spencer. And when I say fake, I don't mean that Phil Spencer isn't generally a nice guy. He is. But Phil's personality is designed in such a fake way to represent Microsoft's actions. It's such a farce. Like he's Phil Spencer's attitude is the embodiment of what Microsoft is all about. That's just such baloney. He's just an avatar. Trust me, my son ain't going back. Unless they do better. And if they do better, look, I'm all better as a gamer for it. It won't be I'm going back and I'm abandoning PlayStation. No, it's like, damn, now where it hasn't been like that for a long time since my PlayStation 2, I'm gonna have both consoles. And I'm gonna enjoy both equally, or I might slightly enjoy this one, but I'm gonna be happy to have both. And it ain't been like that for me since the PlayStation 2 era. And I would like, that's like the PlayStation 2 and the 360 era is the most fun I've had in gaming in a very long time. It's probably my favorite era between those two generations. It's probably my favorite era in gaming because there was so much promise and possibilities, and gaming was being broken wide open and changed in a positive way during those two generations. And I would love to go back to that era where I'm like equally in the game stores or looking online. I used to be in the game stores, but I guess looking online equally for PlayStation games and Xbox games. I would love that. But I ain't getting that right now. So. All right. With that said, that's it from your boy. I appreciate all of y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. Hopefully y'all understand where I was coming from with all this. I know there was a lot of yelling and screaming and stuff like that, but I am passionate about games. And if you guys and gals could do your boy a favor, if you are watching, please hit that follow button. That helps the channel out a lot. We try to like, I was on this one website the other day and was like, oh crap, I want to get some codes from this website. And they're like, oh, well, do you have so-and-so followers? And I'm like, damn, I'm only 19 short. You know what I'm saying? So when you provide us with support, either with the follows or making sure your subscriber, like our sub count went down one. So if anybody has like an Amazon Prime subscription, you know what I'm saying, that you haven't already used, hook a brother up. You know what I mean? Hit me with that Amazon Prime subscription. What that does is that helps me get the games that you want to play. Like my good friend Sean L the other day, or a couple weeks ago, was like, yo, Moss, I want to see you play that Trails from Zero. I said, cool. He said, bam, there you go. That allows us to play the games that you want to see. And we run promotions like where every X amount of dollars that you guys provide, we go buy a game. You decide the game that we buy. We run promotions like that and all other stuff. So, and we're getting close. We're getting close to another $100 promotion. So I think we're like $19 short or something like that. So I'm 19 short of the followers that I need for that code site, and I'm 19 followers and $19 short. 19. But yeah, definitely hit us up. You know what I mean? The support is really appreciated. And even if you just give us a follow, that helps out a lot. Check me out on my other platforms. You can also let me do this before I go. You can check me out on my other platforms, MM2K Gaming on PNTSnetwork.com. Just simply go to PNTSnetwork.com/MM2K Gaming, or you can go to PNTS Network and click on MM2K Gaming via the members section. Click on that. Sorry for the mic hit. You'll get my motto. You see I'm live here on Twitch right here. You can actually watch the show right here live from the website. You can see all my YouTube content from MM2K Gaming, and you can also get access to all the links where I create content. So check that out. And check out the Ubi Most Gaming link. We had a hell of a show yesterday for Division Day. Talked about Division Heartland, all that good stuff. Check us out over there. All right, with that said, I appreciate all of y'all. Give me about it's 1:00 right now. Give me about 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to download Dead Island. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna get it on GFN where I don't have to download it. So I'll say give me until 1:30, and at 1:30 I'll be on kick.com/MM2K Gaming. All right, that's where I'll be. All right, y'all. Follow me there too. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. And don't forget, if you got that star, if you got that crown next to you, you got a free Amazon Prime, just hook me up with a free Amazon Prime. It doesn't cost you anything, but because you have Amazon Prime, you can gift me a sub and help out the channel a lot. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.